Hello, hello, everybody. Good evening. I am so happy to be here for week 6, y'all. Week 6 of the vow. This is actually week 7 because a couple weeks ago we did a roundtable discussion, you guys, and it was so good. Like, I really got my
Hello,
life.
hello, everybody. Good evening.
And I was just so happy. So, welcome, ladies. Thank you all for joining me tonight. As you guys can see the title, this is Transparency in Relationship. But before we get started, I ask that you ladies would share this video to your pages, to your groups, with your friends, tag folks, get them on in here. Come on in the room. This is a really good topic, y'all. This is something that I've been wanting to talk about, to do, and just to be a part of because it is so very important that as individuals in relationships that you need transparency. Transparency is so very important. Okay. And I know a lot of people have been following this journey in the vow. You guys took the vow. We need to really renew it and go back and remind ourselves of what we committed to 6 weeks ago. This is week number 7, but it says part 6 because we did a roundtable discussion. But I just love to have you all in the room. It's just been so exciting. Um, it's definitely been something that, um, that would be memorable for me. I just absolutely love it. And I want to make sure everybody has a chance to watch this. So let me share this also um, to my page too. Um, and then I'm gonna share it to my group again, just in case anybody in there um, didn't get a chance to see it, y'all. So hello, where you guys watching from tonight? Where y'all tuning in from up on tonight? I'm so excited to be here every time, every chance I get. Um, it's always a blessing um, to be able to do these videos. Tonight, I was just, as I was sitting here preparing for this message, I was like, man, I got a lot to say about transparency in relationships, y'all. So anyway, tell me where you ladies are tuning in from. Tell me if you've been listening in, and what did you guys do for self care last week? I forgot to ask that in my group, so I want to know what you ladies did for self care. What did y'all do for self care? What did you guys do to make sure you're taking care of yourself this week or last week? We're on Tuesday now, so I know you guys have had a week to look into it. But anyway, so I hope that you ladies are tuned in and you guys are listening and you have an opportunity to share the video, like the video, and get on in here as I teach on transparency in relationships. So say hello to me, and I'm going to go ahead and get started, ladies. I'm always so excited to do these videos, no matter what, no matter if it's 5 people, 10 people, or 100 people watching. I try to give you guys, I try to lay it all out on the table and make sure you guys really truly understand how important it is to be transparent in your relationship. What the theme of the whole vow is and what goodness it will bring. Um, to you. Okay, and you said that you scheduled for a facial and a massage. Ooh, I want to go to that place in Dallas, y'all. What's the name of that? I think it's called the Spa Castle in Dallas. We need to get a group of folks and go down to the Spa Castle in Dallas, y'all. Like, let me go there and go down there and get my life. Hey, Brittany girl. Hey, y'all. I'm so excited that everybody's tuning in now. I had to share this to the group. I don't know why I wasn't originally in there, but I am so excited to see you ladies on the live tonight. Every time somebody pops on, I just get really excited. I'm like, hey, girl, hey. But anyway, we are talking about transparency. Okay. So, transparency in relationships, y'all. But before we get started, I'm going to, of course, say a little prayer for you guys tonight. Now that everybody is in the room, I feel like all my girls are here now, so I can say my prayer. So here we go. Dear Heavenly Father, I just want to thank you right now for this live video that I'm about to do, God. I hope that it ministers to these young ladies and that everybody is able to glean and learn and understand on why it's so important that we be transparent in all our relationships, but specifically in their romantic relationships, God. I'm praying that romantic relationships and marriage relationships are taken to a new level when they understand that transparency is the optimum of the relationship. This I pray in your most precious name, Jesus. Amen. I got a little tongue tied there. But anyway, I'm so excited that you ladies have joined me. When I think about transparency, I kind of get scared because it's kind of a scary word when you get into transparency because it involves you showing your truth. But the thing about transparency is that it causes you to be honest. It causes you to be open. It causes you to be real, with not the other person necessarily every time, but it causes you to do that with yourselves. Okay? It causes you to be completely honest with who you are as an individual. It makes you face who you are in transparency, right, guys? How many of you ladies can say right now that you've been transparent with your spouse, that you've opened yourself up to your spouse? Truly, that you've truly told them who you really are without all the fanfare, without all the flags, but to really lay down yourself and say, hey, this is who I am. I know this is not typical really in dating relationships. Sometimes we get it twisted. We think that because we're dating people that we should hide who we are as individuals. But that's not true. I really firmly believe that in the dating relationship or when you're courting that you need to tell that person who you truly are because it's kind of like a sneak attack. Because when you get into the relationship, this other person shows up, you take off your wig, you take off your nails. These are physical things. You start crying all the time. You people find out that you've been in toxic relationships, that you've been abused, that you've had suicidal thoughts, that you've come from a broken home. All that information I feel like should be addressed in the courtship, in the dating process, right? Because it's a hot mess, like you said, Brianna. Like, why would you want to marry someone or commit to somebody who you don't really even know? So you've lied to this person basically, or hidden, taken away facts. You haven't actually went and said, "Hey, let me lie" or say anything, but you have omitted the truth. Okay, you've omitted the fact that you have struggled with lying. You've omitted the fact that you struggled with money issues. You've omitted the fact that you had daddy issues or mommy issues, whatever the case may be. You haven't brought that to your spouse. So now they don't have a fair yardstick on which to measure you or what they're getting into. And so now you guys are headed down the aisle and you're having children together. And then all of a sudden, all your daddy issues start spilling out all over the place because at this point, you can't hide it no more. It is who you are, right? In dating relationships, we're able to hide. We don't live with the person, so you go home at night, you kick your wig off, you take your shoes off, and the real you, your belly comes out, all that. The girdle is gone, right? That true, real person is presented. It is my theory, and what I believe to be true, is that that wig needs to come off in the dating relationship. That girdle needs to come down. We need to show that person who we really is before you start walking down that aisle, because at the end of the day, I believe you will be hoodwinked. Okay? Nobody wants to be hoodwinked into being with a person who presented a fake version of themselves. So, my question to you ladies, once again, is are you being transparent? The world says that we hide our flaws until after our marriages. I remember watching Mulan, and she was going to meet, the matchmaker. She was going to match her up with a man. Basically, you don't get the courtship. You just get thrown in there and you matched up with this man who you may or may not even know. And here you are, right? And they put them on the costume makeup and their hair is real pretty and they teach them to stand up straight and hide all their flaws. But my theory is that we should show people our flaws because it's so very important that we do that, y'all. Like, it is crucial going into a marriage because as a married woman, let me tell you, honey, the drama, the tsunami that will ensue upon you if you don't get the truth about that man, and all his baggage, and if that man don't get the truth about you and all your baggage, you guys are going to be in for a hell of a ride. Trust me. These are my life lessons. These are my love lessons that I am sharing transparently with you all tonight. Let me tell you something about marrying a man you don't barely know. Let me tell you something about marrying a man and you don't know nothing about his family history. Okay? It is a fallacy. It is a big mistake to marry a man and not know that man at all. And I'm not saying you got to know every single little bitty detail, but there is some big items that you have to understand, some fundamental aspects of that human being that you need to know before you walk down that aisle. You need to know if he has mommy issues. You need to know if he got crazy baby mamas and what they able to do and destroy and hurt you guys with later on down the line. These are big things that we brush off because we so ready for a party. We ready to get that wedding dress on. We ready to we ready to do the waltz. We ready to cut the cake. We ready to post the engagement pictures. We're ready to see all the glam that comes with marriage, but marriage is work. The only fun thing about marriage is the wedding. I am so sorry to bust you guys' bubbles for my single ladies, my engaged ladies, married ladies are laughing with me because they know what I'm talking about. Listen, you guys, there is an amount of preparation. That is the reason why I have spent 7 weeks talking about where you need to be mentally, emotionally, and physically to go into a marriage, y'all. It's so much to unpack. I don't even have time. Oh my God, it's so much that we have to unpack about marriage and where you need to be mentally, emotionally, and physically, ladies. Physical, yes, come on in the room. Listen, ladies. I love y'all so much that I'm willing to tell you the truth. I'm willing to tell you the absolute truth about marriage. It is hard. It is complicated, absolutely, and is spiritually ready. That is the main thing. If you ain't got things right with God, because you're gonna have to put on the full armor of God. A lot of people ask, why is marriage so difficult? Because a lot of people have lied, hidden facts, have alluded to the truth about who they are as an individual. So you thought you was marrying Jenny and you married Keisha. Or you thought you was getting Keisha and you married Jenny. That is why marriages are up in an uproar, y'all, because people have completely been dishonest with their partners. And that is not fair to you or to them. So tonight, up on tonight, for 30 minutes, I'm going to try and cram how you can be transparent in your relationships. Okay? Are y'all rocking with me? Are y'all here? Say amen. Throw your hands up. Are y'all in the building? I'm so excited to be here because people need to understand. If I can save one soul sister, if I can save one of my Caucasian sisters, Mexican sisters, Asian sisters, if I can save one of you girls, if I can put y'all hair in a ponytail and tell y'all to come on, just one person, then my job is done because I cannot bear to see another woman sitting in an unhappy, unsatisfying, dishonoring marriage because their partner or they were not transparent. You need to tell that man what you got on your what you got in your notebook. You need to tell people what's in your jacket. I know when you go to court, they have a jacket for you and it's got all your criminal history up in that thing. You need to show people your criminal history because some of y'all have done some criminal things. You've been a criminal person. And I'm not saying this all in a bad way. I'm just using that for an example. But some of y'all got some skeletons in y'all closet that you have not shared with your spouse. You want a good man, but you're not a good woman. I had to say it. You want a man without skeletons, but you got skeletons. How dare you ask for what you don't want to be? You want a good loving man, you need to be a good loving woman. And if you're not, you need to tell that man that you struggle with that. You know, this is what I struggle with. I spend up a lot of money. I have a problem. I'm addicted to shopping. I love to get on some Amazon. He needs to know that before he marries you. He needs to know about your past baby daddy. Will he show up at your job and try to kill you? I don't know what kind of baby daddy you got. You need to let that man know where you been and where you headed. The hoodwink is dead, y'all. Let's stop hoodwinking these men. I think in a generation prior to ours, and even maybe prior to that one, women have thought that we need to hoodwink men and to be sweet and nice and do all these things that we're not, be someone we're not, in order to get someone that we want. A lot of us want what we can't have. And I mean that out of other partners. We want a financially conscious person, but we spend money recklessly. We want a loving, kind, sweet person, but we rude and we disrespectful. And we always mugging people at the stove and looking crazy at girls. Instead of saying, oh, girl, I like your hair, you mugging people. But you want your husband to be generous with the compliments, but you always talking about people and you a gossip. Listen, it goes both ways, ladies. I'm all for the woman getting a good man. I love me a good love story. Like anybody else, just like anybody else. But have you been authentic? Have you been transparent? Have you been honest with where you are as a woman? Believe it or not, there are men who will accept you where you are in your growth journey. Did you guys know that you were on a growth journey? Did you know that the day you come out the womb, you start a journey? And we're all on this growth journey. So no matter where you are in life, you're on some part of your journey. And you need to be honest. Hey, I like to talk about people a lot. I try to be a comedian and maybe I got a potty mouth. I'm so sorry about that, but that's where I am in my journey. I'm giving you fair game to go the other way. I'm giving you fair game to move around. But this is just who I am and this is what I'm working on. I don't like that I'm this way, but this is something I'm struggling with. So it may be a day I cuss you out. Okay? I have a very potty mouth and I sometimes like to go off and I'm kind of petty too. Oops. But that's who I am. Can you deal with that? Can you work with me? Can you live with me as I go through the trenches, as I process myself, as I become a better human being? This is what you're signing up for. Stop hoodwinking these men and getting mad at them when they don't like who they married. Stop trying to be people that you're not. And when your husband step out on you, not that this is a reason, this is not an excuse. I'm not excusing anyone, but that infidelity took place in their heart before it took place in their actions. What did you lie to them about? What did you pretend to be before we got to this point? And adultery is wrong and is the only good reason the good book says you can leave your man. So stop believing the thing about I gotta stay with a cheating man. Even the Bible tell you to pick up your bag and go home. Even the Bible tell you to get your bag and fly on up out of there. Stop listening to all this take it back. If you want to take your man back and let him forgive you, that's fine. And I know I'm on a tangent right now, but the Bible don't talk or back that up in no type of form or fashion. Adultery is literally the only thing that God wants you to leave your husband for. So stop believing people when they say stay with that man and keep getting cheated on. Use a lie. If you stay, you stay. And y'all work on y'all marriage, that's fine. I'm all for healed marriages. But if you really stand just because the Bible said you're supposed to stand, you're trying to be an image of a Christian woman, no, sis, that's not where it's at because the Bible already told you to leave. So stop hiding behind the Bible. If you want to stay, stay. That's fine. Work on your marriage. But stop hiding behind the Bible, y'all, the good book. Okay? Anyway, I said what I said on that part and I'm not backing down. But let's get into transparency. Transparent. You invite trust by revealing that you have nothing to hide. You establish yourself as honest, credible person in the eyes of others. You have established yourself as an honest and credible person in the eyes of others when you practice transparency. Wow. Being transparent within a relationship is about sharing our thoughts and feelings honestly without fear of judgment or repercussions. It's not about telling our partners what we think of them. Ooh. So sometimes people think being transparent is an opportunity to let loose on our partners and tell them everything about them that you don't like. But really, transparency is an opportunity for people to see you. It's an opportunity to express yourself. A lot of people, as I went through my therapeutic training, you guys, people would always ask the question, how does that make you feel? How does it make you feel when you come home and your husband's throwing their shoes all over the floor? How does it make you feel when he does not help you with the children? How does it make you feel when he forgets your birthday? Think about those things. That's where transparency comes in. It's not you going to cuss him out because he forgot your birthday. It's speaking about how it made you feel. When you forgot my birthday, I felt like you didn't love me. When you leave your things all over the house, I feel like a maid. I feel like I have to clean up after you. Be very specific because a lot of times we like to do a catch all. You always do this. Always, often. Those big words that lump things all together do not do well. You need to be very specific in situations when you're expressing yourself. Go moment by moment. Stop grouping everything together because sometimes it's confusing for the opposite sex to understand you when you're throwing everything in one big pile. If it's about the birthday, focus on the birthday, right? When you're being transparent about wanting help with the kids, be very specific about the situation that you need the help in. Give direction, be clear, be open, be honest. This really hurts my feelings when this happens, X, Y, and Z. It really makes me sad. It makes me feel forgotten. Use some big words. Do your research, guys. You've got to communicate. We already talked about communication. Go back and look at the communication part. I taught you guys how to communicate with people and when to communicate. Maybe at 3 o'clock in the morning when you're angry is not a good time to communicate with your husband, especially if you know they sleep during real hard during the night. Or maybe that's not a good time to text your boyfriend and tell him how you're really feeling at 2:30 in the morning because you can't get it off your chest and you've been holding it for 3 months. That's probably not a good time. Timing is everything as well. That is another part of our communication. But right now we're talking about transparency. You got your communication down. You got your moment down. You're ready. You're in there. You're right there in the moment. And you really want to be transparent. You want to tell the truth about your dad. You want to say that you were sexually abused. You don't enjoy sex because you were raped. That is not making the other person feel bad. That is giving your truth. And if people can't handle who you are and what your truth is, then they're probably not the one for you because you did not attack that person. You didn't call them names. You only spoke your truth. And when people don't give you permission to be you, then that's probably not the relationship that you need to be in. You need to be able to tell people you were molested in a sexual relationship. You need to be able to tell people that you don't like dark rooms because you were robbed. You need to be able to tell people that you just don't like a dirty house because you were brought up very tidy. Or that you don't really care about messes and that's the creative space you're in. But if you care about messes, I'll definitely clean up. But I want to be transparent with you on where I am. I don't like to clean. I'm not domesticated. I like to work. I'm a career woman. It makes me feel low when you try to domesticate me. That's transparency. That's honesty. That's not attacking the other person. You're not going in swinging. You're just going in speaking your truth. And let me tell you how conversations with your spouse is going to turn around when you start making it about you and not blaming them. Now, given sometimes that the person is to blame for your misfortune, especially if they forget your birthday, but you need to speak your truth and stop hiding behind that didn't hurt my feelings. They need to know that that hurts you. They need to know who you are. They need to know that you enjoy birthdays and that when you don't give me a gift, that hurts my feelings. Am I preaching tonight? Are you guys getting it? Just give me a thumbs up and say amen. We're getting it. We get it. No, we get it. So when you're transparent, you know, I want to go over some ways to become a cautious partner or conscious partner. That means you're aware of what's happening around you when you become a cautious partner. Okay. Being authentic means being true to your core in everything you do every day. It requires a significant amount of self knowledge and self awareness. So you have to be aware of where you at on the spectrum. You need to be self aware of who you are as an individual. And that's why it's so important to spend time with yourself in your single days so you can find out who you are as an individual before you link up with another person. Some of us don't know who we are. Some of us have never knew who we are. We've tried to be everybody else and everything to everyone, and we've never stopped to find out who we are. But you can't be authentic with another person if you don't even know who you are. So some of us need to backtrack. We need to dig down and spend some time alone with ourselves, whether that's through journaling, prayer, meditation, reading. All of those things cause you to face yourself. Okay? Spend some time with yourself. Take yourself on a date. Love on yourself for a while. Go get a pedicure, get a manicure, sit in your car, turn on some music. Whatever you need to do to spend some time with yourself, because in order to become authentic, you have to be self aware. You need to be self knowing. It starts with you. In order to be a cautious or a conscious person and a conscious partner, you need to be humble. Being humble is a sign of tremendous inner strength. Tremendous inner strength. Something that a lot of us don't possess, including myself some days. It's hard for me to be humble and meek and mild because I'm just so, I'm just that kind of lady. Although being humble is a sign of tremendous inner strength, it can still be perceived in our society as a sign of weakness. People see humility as weak, but that's not the truth. You have to humble yourself when you know you got it going on and you know you the it girl and you know your worth, but yet you still honor other people. That is humble. That is humility at its best. As women, we have to tone it down and humble ourselves to understand that you're not the only one in this relationship, that there's another human being whose feelings, thoughts, and dreams you need to consider. So that's one way. You need to be authentic. Somebody type that in the chat. You need to be authentic and you need to be humble. Authentic is number one, humble is number two. Number three, you need to drop your guard. Some of us is all pinned up. We on guard. We got a wall up. We got a wall up. We're not listening to anything because we're on guard. So number three is drop your guard. In order to be a conscious partner, you need to drop your guard. You need to let that man in. I know this sounds scary to some people. Remember, we've already went through the steps of elimination. We've already eliminated the psychos, the narcissists, the toxic folks. So this is seemingly a decent person that you're letting in. So it's time to drop your guard. It's time to let someone in. And you can't go into a marriage relationship shutting people out. Can you imagine how lonely it is to do life with a partner who never lets you in? Can you imagine living life with a person that shuts you out? You've committed to 50, 60, 70 years with a man or a woman who never lets you in. How do you stay in a marriage with a person who never lets you in? So we got to open the door, y'all. We got to open the door. We got to let folks in. We got to start letting people see us. So let's go back to number one. Number one is authentic. Number two is humble. Number three is drop your guard. Somebody type drop your guard. That is what we want to do when we get into a romantic, serious, committed relationship. You absolutely have to drop that guard. Number four, be honest. When someone asks you a question, be honest. Be honest about how you truly feel in that moment. I'm so excited about this, y'all, that um, I'm able to do all of this. Oh my goodness, this is so exciting. When I get an opportunity to teach this way. As you guys know, I used to be a teacher. What gave it away? Um, and that I am a motivational speaker and a life coach too. That I love what I do. Yes, ma'am, Brittany, drop your guard. Hey, Shanita. Hey, my cousin is out here, y'all. I love to see it. I love to see Brittany. I work with Brittany when I used to work with corporate America at Sam's Club. I don't even know if I can say that. I'm not that famous yet where I can drop names. But good people, good girl, great individual. And then my cousin Shanita and my sister is on here too. I absolutely love this, you guys. So, number four is be honest. Be honest in a healthy relationship. It is essential to be honest. We should tell the truth about what is going on in our lives. We don't have to reveal everything that we think we feel, but we should find a way to convey important details that may have an impact on our relationship. Very important details. You have to be honest with your partner. You can't go in there lying. You can't go in there hiding or alluding to the truth. Some of us allude from the truth, or, they just do not mention it. Omission, lying by omission. I omitted the fact that I don't like this kind of food. It starts with the small things when we say yes to stuff we don't really want to do, like sushi. We may go to a sushi restaurant just to make our partner happy, but we never mention we don't like sushi. And then it becomes easy to omit who we are. We take pieces of ourselves away. And then you say, oh, he snatched my soul. He took everything from me. He wanted me to be somebody I wasn't. Well, you never told the truth. You never told him what you didn't want. You just kept doing everything he wanted you to do in order to keep him because you thought that's what you should do. When really you should have been telling him you didn't like the sushi, you don't like wearing high heels, and you like to wear wigs, or you don't like to wear wigs. Maybe you like long hair. Maybe you like short hair, but he likes long hair, so you wear long hair. Or maybe he likes short hair, natural hair, but you really want to wear a wig. Whatever the case may be, it starts small, y'all. You got to start being honest up front about the little things. So when the big stuff happens, that you can tell the truth. When the big stuff starts happening, because it gets big, it gets real big down the line. It gets real life threatening and life essential as you go on down the line, as you get deeper into the relationship. It's all fun and games when y'all date and you say you like the fries and you really don't. But it gets real serious when you're parenting and you're trying to pick your child up from school, or you trying to decide how you want to discipline, and he's ready to whoop your baby, but you don't like whippings. Okay? So if you told him the truth up front long time ago when you guys first started, you wouldn't have been giving away pieces. A lot of women leave relationships drained and feeling like they donated their self away, or they gave away everything and they worked so hard for their partner and the partner didn't work hard for them. Well, you were lying the whole time. He didn't tell you to be fake. You did that on your own. You gave away pieces of yourself. You stopped doing things that you enjoyed. You stopped cutting off friends. You sacrificed your family and stopped kicking it with family and friends. You did that. You did that. You know you like family reunions, but you didn't go to satisfy him. Why? Why? Okay? So you can't blame anybody in those situations but yourself. So honesty. And number five, the last one I'll go over today, is keep your promises. When you make a promise to your partner and keep the promise, we build trust. People start believing in you when you become a woman of your word. If you say you're going to do something, do it. Just like the man. If you say you're going to take out the darn trash, take out that trash. If you said you're going to babysit the kids or look after the kids, babysit and look after them kids. Okay? Do what you said you were going to do. Start small with the little bitty things in a dating relationship so when it gets big, the person will trust you. Because all we have is our word. Be true to your word. Hey, Miss Crystal. Hey, girl. Um, we need to be true to who we say we're going to be. And we need to, if we make a promise or we commit to something, we need to stick to it because it builds trust. It builds trust over time. Okay? So somebody said, have I visited India? If y'all want to fly me out to India to speak, I'm coming. Keep your promises. Keep your promises when you have to promise, when you make a promise to your partner and keep the promise. We build trust and we reinforce our commitment to each other. If we don't follow through with our promises, the message that we send to our partners that we simply don't care. More than likely, our partner will feel unimportant, not worth the effort, and deep down, it will leave us feeling bad. Mm-mm-mm. Wow. Listen, you guys, you have to be honest with your partners. You have to be authentic. You have to keep your word. You have to drop your guard. And ultimately, you have to be humble. Because in order to share and be who you are, it takes a level of humility to say, hey, this is who I am. You know, I struggle with my credit. I have a spending habit. I'm a gossip. All of those things come into play when you're dealing with people. And this is shorter than I thought, but I really enjoyed it, you guys. I really enjoyed as I went through all of these. And I have a couple more, and I thought I wouldn't have a chance to do it, but I guess I can go in and tell you guys a few more that I really, really enjoyed on this journey. You know, it's just been such a journey for me. It really has been, y'all. It has been such a journey for me. And it's been such a love journey to dig in and see, where I went wrong as a married lady, what I did wrong this time around. So I can correct you guys and say, hey, listen, sis, don't do that. Don't go into a marriage trying to be someone you're not, and then you take off your wig and the man is like, what? And then you surprised because he leaves you or doesn't want to be with you anymore. Because he married a fake image of who he thought he was marrying. And how fair is that to stick somebody in a relationship with you and you've lied the whole time? We've got to be open. We've got to be honest. We've got to start digging into who we are as women. And it all goes back to communication. How do we communicate our needs? How do we communicate who we are as individuals? How do we stop blaming other people for who we are and what went wrong and take responsibilities for the roles that we've played? Not every time is it going to be your partner's fault, but sometimes it is. But even then, you have to be humble in a relationship and give grace in the relationship. And these are relationships that don't have anything to do with psychopaths, narcissistic people, or toxicity, abuse, or infidelity. All those things I think need to be handled through counseling and a higher source than just you and your spouse talking. I'm talking about everyday issues. Okay? So when I think about this and I get into it really heavy, it just brings so many emotions to me to be able to speak and say these things to you ladies. And I'm hoping it's resonating with your souls. I'm hoping that it's digging deep into what you really understand and know about relationships. And that when you're in your next relationship or you're heading in your next relationship, what will you do to be authentic? How will you be authentic? What can you do to be a better person in relationship? I hope that when you get into that relationship, you will remember these key points. And I'll go over them one more time before I get out of here. I'm so excited. I get on these lives and I have no idea where the Holy Spirit is going to lead me. I don't know where I'm going left or right, but I just invite him in to lead me down these paths. And I'm just so happy that he led me to this because it's been just so trying for me to understand really how it is to be authentic. And this is coming from a lady who thought she was keeping it real. But I realized in a lot of instances, I wasn't keeping it real because I had been trained and taught to hide your flaws until after the marriage. And that is not a good idea, ladies. Do not hide your flaws. Let that person know up front so they can know, hey, this I can't handle that. I don't do well with baby mama drama. I don't do well with fathers or mothers that interfere, mama's boys. I don't do well with that. I can't live with that. But at least you knew up front and you didn't get hoodwinked. So you just got to be honest. You welcome, Crystal. I love you ladies. So you ladies, and I had something else. I had one more thing here on my list. I'm gonna get this out. I just got to make sure I get everything out, that I wanted to say to you guys tonight. Um, up on tonight. Yes, ma'am. I just love this. So, just making sure. Okay. Transparency is not about confronting others, y'all. Transparency is actually about confronting ourselves. Make that quote for Facebook. Quote that. Transparency is not about confronting others. Transparency is actually about confronting ourselves. So I ask this week that you ladies confront yourselves, that you confront every broken piece of yourself, that you confront the things that are hurting you, that you are honest with your partners if you have one. But if you do not have a partner and you are single, that you can do that still, even if it's in a journal, a recording. For me, I like to make memos on my phone where I speak about the things that are hurting me. I know it sounds crazy and it sounds weird, but I listen to those things back. I play them back to myself and say, wow, February 23rd of 2019, I was struggling with depression. I was struggling with potty training with my daughter, but I got over it. So it kind of leaves me a timeline to look back on when I say, oh, I'm overcoming things. So I use that as kind of a measuring stick of things that I've conquered throughout my life. And I've journaled since I was a little bitty girl. So I'm always an advocate for journaling. And I'm also a strong advocate for mental health. A very strong advocate that you seek therapy if you need it. If you need help revealing yourself, or you start to get transparent and that stuff really digs up and it triggers you. A trigger is simply something that makes you go back to those bad feelings or that depression or that anxiety. So if things trigger you, I ask that you go and get help. You don't have to fight this alone. Um, and there is something that you can do in prayer, ultimately prayer and worship in church and God. That has been a very huge cornerstone. The cornerstone of my life has been prayer and my relationship with God. And if you guys don't have a relationship with God, I tell you that you need to get one. Jesus is always on the main line. My mama used to say that, and it was songs like Jesus on the main line, tell him what you want. When I got grown, I blew that phone up. Girl, I called that main line so many times and people knew me by name. I love to call on the main line. God is able and he's faithful. And I've never called that main line as much as I ever have since I've been married. Girl, like I had to get on the main line, the main one. I didn't want to be put on hold. But prayer, absolutely, prayer and supplication is needed. But anyway, I love you ladies so much. I hope you really enjoyed this and that you learned something tonight. I'll post these 5 things that I wanted you guys to look at on my page, just so you can have it. And I wanted to leave you guys with a scripture as well. Um, if you bear with me, hold on. Maybe I can get it on my watch. Maybe. I love you guys so much that I'm going to go here. Okay. This is Mark 11:24. And I'm believing you guys to have good husbands. Therefore, I say unto you, what things soever you desire, when you pray, believe ye and receive them, and ye shall have them. So whenever you pray for something, I believe that God is going to send us men who, when we are transparent with them, that they will love us even more. When you're transparent with people and they reject you, then that's a red flag. I'm praying that you ladies get men that will love you, that you begin to step in faith and say that God is going to send me a man that will love me for who I am. Transparency, that no more hiding, no more getting behind bushes, no more presenting a woman that's not myself, no more fixing myself up and dolling myself up only to hoodwink and trick this man into loving a version of myself that I've never been before. And then getting upset and mad that he doesn't love the real version of me because I never gave him a fair shot. That you believe in who you are as enough to tell that man up front exactly who you are. No more hiding, no more scheming, no more scamming, no more dishonesty. Nothing but truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. That's my prayer for you, ladies. I love you, ladies. Y'all have a great night and go get y'all a bottle. I got my bottle. This says Elnor. It has my real name on it. And I am drinking my H2O and I am working out, y'all. I'm trying to lose me some weight, honey, because listen, sis want to look good for the summer. So anyway, I got my bottle. Okay, get y'all a bottle. They'll be on the website. My good friend, good sis, Kanitha Jones is making these bottles for me. She will make them for you guys as well. So y'all get a bottle. Okay. I love y'all. Y'all have a good night. And I will see y'all next week for part 7, the finale of the vow. All right. Y'all have a good night. And I love you so much. I enjoyed my time with y'all. I always have a really good time. Okay. Y'all have a good night.